Thanks, Chairman Grassley. Today we'll hear from two judicial nominees and Andrew Tyson Duva, nominated to be Assistant Attorney General for the Criminal Division. Mr. Duva, I appreciate your coming by my office this week. Criminal Division prosecutors handle some of the most complex and important cases in this country, including public corruption, child exploitation and child sexual abuse material, white-collar crime, money laundering, violent crime, the list is long. This mission used to have bipartisan support, but the Trump administration has fired dozens of prosecutors simply because they prosecuted January 6 rioters, and he has gutted the key criminal division components. I discussed this with Mr. Duva. Look at the Public Integrity Section, also known as PIN, which is responsible for investigating and prosecuting public corruption cases. In March 2025, the Justice Department struck a corrupt bargain to conditionally dismiss charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams in exchange for his cooperation with the Trump administration on the deportation campaign. In response, several prosecutors resigned from the Department of Justice, including the U.S. Attorney herself. A staunch conservative, she clerked for Justice Scalia and was appointed to her position by President Trump. She quit. According to public reporting and credible whistleblowers, then acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove, who is now a circuit judge, convened a meeting where he ordered Penn prosecutors to sign the motion to dismiss the charges against Adams or face unspecified consequences. At the end of the Biden administration, there were 30 prosecutors in this section of public integrity. Now the section has two. There is a longstanding requirement that prosecution of public officials be reviewed by Penn career prosecutors to ensure they are not politically motivated. Attorney General Bondi has reportedly eliminated this requirement. At the same time, illegally appointed interim U.S. Attorney Alina Habba is bragging that she will use her position as interim U.S. Attorney in New Jersey, quote, to turn New Jersey red, close quote, while she prosecutes a sitting member of Congress. Mr. Duva, in our meeting this week, you told me you found value in collaborating with Penn attorneys on public corruption cases you prosecuted, and you had at least one that was noteworthy and trial followed nationwide. So I want to hear from you when the questioning starts, how you'll rebuild this section, the public integrity section, and restore its authority should you be confirmed. I have heard the common refrain from Trump administration and its supporters that purging DOJ prosecutors will have no effect on fighting crime. The numbers tell a different story in the first year of the second Trump presidency. A recent Reuters article reported that the number of drug prosecutions under the Trump administration has dropped to the lowest level in decades. The number of money laundering prosecutions has dropped by 24%. Nor are gun crimes exempt. Felon in possession of firearm prosecutions have fallen 5% this year. I want to hear from Mr. Duva how he is going to reverse these troubling trends and how he can continue to divert resources from the Department of Justice to the mass deportation campaign without facing more statistics like these. Where are the Justice Department resources going if they're not going after narcotics and crimes like that? President Trump's mass deportation campaign. This isn't about reducing crime. Despite President Trump's claims that he's going after the worst of the worst, oh, you heard the litany, rapists, murderers, terrorists, criminally insane, sexual predators. It turns out that just days ago, one of my constituents, Maria Greeley, was detained by ICE agents despite carrying documentation proving she was an American citizen. The agents questioned the validity of her passport, and do you know why? She looked Hispanic and she had the name Greeley. Their antennas went up. She must not be who she says she is. And she said later on, I'm a Latina. I'm a service worker. I fit the description of what they're looking for over and over. Let's be clear about what's happening in Chicago. President Trump is abusing his power by shifting Justice Department resources away from keeping American families safe to fuel his mass deportation campaign. He is deploying federal law enforcement to zip-tie children and tear gas peaceful protesters and journalists for political theater, not for public safety. We need Justice Department officials who will honor their oath I hope that the three of you, if you have that opportunity, will do just that. Let me close with a point that's been made repeatedly in this committee. There are some members of this committee who believe that violence in the public place for elected officials is inspired by the left. Let me say at the outset, I am opposed to violence against public officials and others, regardless of whether it comes from the right or the left. And I don't believe it is simply the province of the left to do these excessive and unacceptable things. Yesterday, Christopher Moynihan was rearrested. Christopher Moynihan had been prosecuted for breaking into the Capitol on January 6th and admitted that he rifled through the desk on the Senate floor of Senator Cruz. What happened was he was traced by local police to be involved in some threats against the life of Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries. This is what Mr. Moynihan said: "I cannot allow this terrorist to continue. Even if I am hated, Hakeem Jeffries must be eliminated." That was a man who received a full and unconditional pardon by President Trump earlier this year. He had been arrested for his activities on January 6th. The point I'm trying to make, and want to make clearly, violence, whatever the source, right or left, should not be tolerated by anyone on this committee. And to say it's simply from one side or the other is naive and doesn't reflect the reality of the world we live in. I yield.